Which, part of the conflict there when they're fighting is kind of my next point. This is like the moment where Sabine uses the Force for the first time. So, they're fighting the Death Troopers. They've got her in a chokehold up against the rock or whatever, and she reaches out and is able to force her lightsaber over, turns it on, it stabs the guy in the head and kills him and frees herself. And then, she uses the Force on the other one. Anyways, it's this moment where she's finally broken this barrier of like, I can't use the Force to now I've used the Force. And it might be a hot take, but I don't know how I feel about that right now.
You didn't make a take.
Yeah.
I don't think, yeah.
You didn't say anything yet.
No, I'm just saying I don't know if I like it. Like,
yeah. Well, that's the thing.
So
I'm in the same boat with you. I thought everything leading up to it was great, right? They get into the castle, and they're just wrecking it. I mean, of course, 3 lightsaber users against, like, some
Stormtroopers.
Like, of course they're going to absolutely destroy it, And then the classic loophole, Star Wars loophole, when they slash a door control, it closes.
You slash it, it closes. You slash it, it opens back up again. Yeah.
The classic Star Wars loophole. But that was, I just thought that was kind of funny. And then Ahsoka fighting with Morgan, and the whole, like, again, it's kind of like when she fought her first in Mandalorian, it was a lot like samurai-esque again. Like, it's keeping on par with the samurai, like, fighting schedule. And now that she has, like, this like, blade, it kind of goes short. It's not a spear like she had before, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's this blade, and so it is a lot more like you would see just like 2 samurai fighting, right? Super cool. I thought it was great. And then, yeah, they get up to the apex, and all of a sudden, like, they're fighting these troopers, and I was praying when I saw that he had held her up, and then all of a sudden Ezra gets disarmed, and then she's like choking, and she's like holding her hand. I was like, please don't, like, Ezra just throw her the lightsaber or something, or force push the lightsaber. In her hand. I was like, please no, but then she did it, killed him, and then my biggest issue with that was that she had just unlocked the power to force her lightsaber, like, to her hand, and then all of a sudden, like, she's pushing Ezra, like, force pushing Ezra off a cliff to jump onto to the Star Destroyer. Like, we'll get to that later. I just didn't see that happening, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of felt like it was like Rey, whereas all of a sudden, like, she just gets control of her powers, and now it's like, I can lift a mountain, It's like, no, that's not the point. It's like, they're supposed to be training and disciplined enough so that you can be strong in it, right? And so,
I'm ready to rebuttal this.
Me too. I'm just saying. Well, I'll go first because I dislike it for a different reason. And maybe you'll like it, maybe you dislike it. I think, for me, like, it wasn't that she doesn't have training. Like, I just think the idea of Sabine being a Jedi and being herself as a Jedi is that maybe she doesn't need the Force as it's been seen previously, right? Like, for her, like, when we watch Trials of the Darksaber, right? Fen Rao shows up and gives her the little, like, pulse emitter thing, right? He gives her the little electro, like, whip thing, whatever, right? And so it's like, that's what I want to see, right? She's up against the wall, right? She's, like, pinned down. She can't use the Force. Then you got to adapt, right? You're going to be Sabine, and you're going to use your little wrist, like, grabber thing, right? Your whip to grab the lightsaber, bring it over, and you're going to use your resources because you're a Mandalorian, right? Are you a Mandalorian who knows how to use a lightsaber and understands the Force and uses the Force in a different way? Yes. So that's where I'm, like, 50-50. And that's why right now, I don't know if I can say I dislike it. I don't know if I can say that I like it. But I trust what Dave Filoni is doing right now, moving forward. But for me as a watcher, I think it would have been cooler to see Sabine. I think she's had the training. If she unlocks her Force powers now, like, okay. But I think it would have been cool to see her use her abilities as a Mandalorian and to be her own Jedi, right? Yeah. Instead of, okay, I've seen Luke Skywalker force his lightsaber when he was in the Wampa's cave, right? Like, I've seen all these people do the same thing. Maybe it's poetic to have her do it as well, but I would have liked to see her as a Mandalorian use her resources better.
Yeah,
so
that's more where I was leaning. Was she's her whole thing is like
Right.
tactician.
Yeah.
Like, she's got something up her sleeve,
Mhm.
and I was hoping we'd see more of that throughout the show, like against Shin in the first episode, or against Shin in on Cetos. Just
Mhm.
like use something that's gonna like throw her off her game. You know, the sonic boom threw Ezra off in their training. Like,
Yep.
why
Right.
not? Where's that up your sleeve? You know, where's the Fenrau side of your training? You know, so that was something I missed, but. I thought Ezra was gonna force her to save her. That's
Yeah.
what
That's what I expected too.
But the only problem with that is you needed her to use the Force to get Ezra home, and so there's only like I don't know. I feel like when something clicks in my head, then I can get really good at it really quick. Like when you become fluent in a second language, once you get it, you get it.
Right.
And so, obviously, pushing that one might be a little extreme. I can
Well,
see the extremity in
yeah.
the push.
There was that's where
I can see that logic, but I mean, I saw Ahsoka Tano in season 1 and 2 do some pretty acrobatical, force enhanced things. You know, season 3 Ahsoka finale, season 3 Clone Wars finale. Ahsoka's on her own on an island taking care of 3 younglings. Like, come on. Like, that is crazy. And I get that there's training involved. 3 seasons of training. But, like...
multiple years of training.
But, I don't know. I do think it was a little on the far-fetched side.
Agreed, yeah.
But was it enough for me to lose like Jake said, lose my faith in what Dave is doing? No. But the execution, it's just like the hug in the 6th episode. It wasn't there. Yeah. But now I had to get over it, right?
Right.
For the story and that kind of thing, and so it's hurting the overall score of the episode,
right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not diminishing the story of Sabine overcoming her demons. The more demons that we found in this episode in the series,
right?
But yeah, I did think I was like Ezra's gonna force it to her. Ezra's gonna do it. And then she did it, and I was like, okay, that's making the jump. That was the jump from okay, Sabine's trying to use the Force to she's used it now. Now what's the limit to it? And she's already forced Ezra. That could be impulsive. I mean, you've seen Ventress when the flashback of Ventress when she's coming back to her Night Sisters, and you see what happened to her master.
Right.
He gets killed, and she just goes crazy. Right?
Yeah.
Like, so Sabine could just been on an adrenaline high and say, hey, I just forced this. I'm feeling it right now. Like, I know what I'm doing. Go for it, you know?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see it.